This is our tutorial on buyback menu, specifically on selling contracts to the corp. So today we're talking about selling ore, ice, and moon ore, which all of three are the same except for you go into different menus on the buyback page. So my example is going to be some Plagioclase. You'll see that in my hanger, my item hanger, I have 22 units of Plagioclase that I'm going to sell to the ore as my example. That's the data that we're going to work from. So first things first, you want to make sure that you have the Plagioclase in the right station. The buyback page will tell you what the right station is if you're unsure, but almost always Iron Ridge in DTAC B is going to be the place to sell your ore, your ice, or your moon ore. Anything that needs to take a little bit more processing to get to a final product, that's where that's going to go. The fourth item that gets bought at Iron Ridge will be reactions materials, which is a specialty product that comes out of moon ore, which we can talk about at a later date possibly. The other items such as minerals, salvage, ancient salvage, and explo materials all get sold at Citrine Falls instead. Again, the buyback page will explain to you which station you should be setting your contract. So we've come in here, we've checked, we have our Plagioclase, we know it's in the right station. Let's hop over to our buyback page, which I have open in a different window at the moment. Give me 1 second. So just so that everyone is aware, let's hop over here. If you have never logged into the buyback page before, bootstrapmining.com brings you to our forums. You'll need to log in so that you have access to our forums. A lot of this information needs to be updated. I'm hoping that over the next little bit I'll get to updating some of it. But the key point is here, this logo. If you click that, that will take you to the buyback page, which is bootstrapmining.com/buyback. So if you have already been into the buyback page, you should be able to auto-complete it. But if not, then you can click this buyback page button and it will take you to the login screen. Ignore these bottom two, those are totally irrelevant to you, and just use login for Bootstrap Mining members. Log in with Eve Online will bring you to our login page. This gets access from CCP's ESI and gives it to our web page. The information doesn't go to Menegrith or myself or anyone else in the corp. This is just for the website to pull information from the ESI so that it can do its basic operations. So we'll click authorize, get access. The buttons that you will see will be these blue ones and these red ones and a couple of these lower down ones. You won't see this edge. Doesn't matter. Those are just for the industry team. So those you don't need to see. The very important ones are these blue ones, which is your sell buttons. These will take you to the pages to sell each individual type of material. So sell ore, sell ice, ice products, moon ore. Otherwise, sell mineral salvage, ancient salvage minerals, and then you have your PI, gas, and abyssal. Specifically, you're going to be using the ore, ice, and moon ore, and some of you may start using the minerals, salvage, and ancient salvage relatively early. So those are the ones that are going to be the most common. So let's go into sell ore because I have 22 units of Plagioclase, which is a basic ore. So that's going to be found in that menu. If you do have one of the more specialty ores, the chromite, sperrylite, and anything like that, those will be found in the moon ore. But again, just jump into one or the other, and it'll give you a list. We'll hop into the sell ore. It'll give you a list of items to sell, and if you don't see it in there, go check the other one. That should be where it's at. So in this case, I got an ESI error just because it's data that hasn't refreshed yet. Here I can relog in, and it should update. Yep, so it's updated now, and you'll see that now. Before it didn't actually show this that I had any in stock. Now it actually auto-completed for me that I have 22 units of Plagioclase. So the buyback menu tries to make it as simple as possible for you to sell your ore. Big note right up top here. Caution, this may be cached for up to 60 minutes. The ESI sometimes will take up to 60 minutes to refresh, which means if you bring some ore into your hold recently, you may not actually have it in here until it gets to that refresh. So it's very important that when you're actually running your contract, that you're checking to make sure these numbers are correct according to whatever is in your hangar. So again, 22 units, I know that's true. I know it's correct, so we're good with this. The one other thing I want to mention is there is a difference between Plaglio class and compressed Plaglio class. All of these standard ores you are able to compress to make it much easier to transport. Compression shrinks it by 100 times and also reduces the units by 100 times. So when you are setting up these contracts, if I had 2 units of compressed Plaglio class, that is 100 times smaller than the amount that I actually am selling to the corp, because here we're only counting how much Plaglio class itself we're selling. So if you have compressed Plaglio class, times it by 200, 2 units times 100 will give me 200 units of Plaglio class, and that's what you're going to type into here to make sure that you're selling the appropriate amount. Otherwise, you're not getting as much money as you should be for it. If at all that's unclear, please get a hold of me, and I'm willing to talk you through that a little bit more. So we've checked it. I have 22 units of Plaglio class that I'm selling. We're happy with this. We're going to hit submit. This takes us to the confirmation page, the contract summary or details as it says. It gives us the contract number, which is a very important number to get put into the contract itself. It tells us what we're actually selling, the amount, what our corp is quoting for that amount. So here we're offering 23.92 ISK per unit, and what the total amount is after the sale. So here we have 526, and you have an easy copy to clipboard button here to get that 526 ISK to paste into the contract in a moment. This is a very important part, which is why we have it nice and big and colored. Please make sure the contract is set in the right station. Again, as I mentioned before, all ore, moon ore, and ice will go to Iron Ridge. And it will always say right here in the details page. And also make sure that you are putting this sales contract number into the contract so that we can in the future track what happened with things. If there's ever an error or something went wrong with a contract, if we have this number, it makes our life a lot easier to go back and try and find what happened. This is an important line. It tells you the what must be done or else it's going to get rejected to the contract specifically. So failure to set the correct station. If I set this to Citrine Falls, which is our other station, because Citrine Falls does not take Plaglio class, this contract would get rejected if I set it to Citrine Falls. So make sure you are setting it to the correct station. Set it to DTEC B7YK Iron Ridge. We'll go through how to do that in a moment, or else it's going to get rejected. Also, the correct description, which is going to be this number. Again, we'll go through that in a moment. It's much simpler than I'm making it sound. Just throwing in the numbers and you're happy. And lastly, a 28-day expiry. The only reason that we ask everyone set it to a 28-day expiry, we expect all contracts to get through within a much shorter time frame than that. But there is the odd time when our corp funds are running a little low because we are tied into some very large build orders. And that means that we're going to start prioritizing which sell orders we're going to be finishing when, which means that some orders like salvage or data cores may be postponed for a few days so that we can get that contract done and get some more ISK back into the corp's coffers. So if that happens, that means it could take 3, 4, 5 days for an order to finish. If you set a 3-day expiry date, that means as soon as that 3 days is up, we cannot finish it, and that contract is stuck there until you come in and delete it. So it's very important that you give us that 28 days. You should never have to worry about it taking that long, but it makes it so that it's not going to clutter up our contract list, and it gives us a little bit of breathing room so that we can make sure that all contracts are getting done. Good. So that covers our details page. We're going to jump back into the game and we're going to start making the contract itself. So if we jump into our contracts page, we can either create contract, or if you have multiple items, you can actually go into your item hanger and highlight however many items you are, press Control, and click however many you need so that you have all of the items that you are selling highlighted. Make sure that when you go back to your main contract details, that you are getting the same data that is in there. Otherwise, it's going to get rejected because we need to make sure that all this information is staying the same. So here we sold 22 units Plaglio class. Right-click, create contract. That's going to be the easiest way, but it gets you to the same place if you go into your contracts page and click the create contract. So we have our contract open. It's going to be an items exchange, but it's not going to be public. There's two ways to do it. If you are in Bootstrap Mining, the main corp for nullsec, you can just click My Corporation and it will be set to the right corp. If you are in the HiSec Corp or any Alliance Corporation, you have to go into this name box and type in Bootstrap Mining. If we don't do it to that, it doesn't actually go to the right place. All of our industry takes place in Bootstrap Mining. It doesn't take place in the HiSec Corp or anywhere else. So all the contracts need to be set to Bootstrap Mining so that we are always up to date on our contracts. We don't often check our HiSec Corporation's contracts, though we try and do every now and then because there are some people who accidentally set it there instead. So if you are in the HiSec Corp or in a different corporation, make sure you have Bootstrap Mining in here. You may have to skill your contract skill found under the trades tab in your skill tree to 1 so that you can get a couple extra contracts, but it is important that it goes to the right corp. So we have that set right. Let's go next. Oh, it jumped back to my corporation on me. Let's quickly fix that private. Now it's going to Bootstrap Mining. Now it's happy. Page 2 is the station and items that we are putting into the contract. So in this case, it's Iron Ridge, and we are adding our Plaglio class. Make sure that all the items you're selling are actually ticked. If not, then the contract will get rejected because it is not accurate to what you actually said in the buyback webpage that you're selling. If you are doing a remote order, you are able to open up this to pick which system you are selling from. So I could sell from Citrine Falls, whatever stuff I have in Citrine Falls. But again, we covered already, we're selling to Iron Ridge and Plaglio class, all standard ores, and all ores go to Iron Ridge. So we're happy with this. So we can just go straight to next. Here we have the I will pay section. That is only for buyback orders, so don't put anything into there. I will receive, that is for our sell orders. That's the amount that we're going to put in that we can pull directly from our contract details page. So we have contract total 526. Click copy to clipboard and we will paste. So 526 ISK, that's how much I get from selling this 22 units of Plaglio class. Expiration, make sure it's 4 weeks, just set it to max right away. Description, that we can get from our details as well. That is this other section, our contract number. Up here, you'll see clipboard as well. You can copy paste it however you want, but that is an easy way to get that information. And again, we're just going to paste it. Good. So we have our description, we have how much we will receive, and it's set to 4 weeks. We can ignore this also request items, that is just for buy orders. So that's something we'll cover in a different tutorial. Click next, and now we get to review our order, see if there's anything wrong. It's an item exchange, that's right, we're giving ore and we're getting money back. Description, we have our contract number, which we got from the contract details page. Availability needs to go to Bootstrap Mining, whether it's to your corp, or if you're in the HiSec corp, to Bootstrap Mining itself. Make sure that it is going to the right place. Location, that is information we get straight from the details page from the contract buyback. Expiration, 28 days is our 4 weeks, so that's perfect. Sales tax, we should be good on. That's nothing that we can actually affect. Broker's fee, there's always going to be a 10,000 ISK broker's fee, so make sure that whatever you're selling is actually worth putting a contract up for. In this case, I'm making 526 ISK and I'm losing 10,000, so it's not actually worth it to make a contract for 22 Plaglio class. That's just something to keep your eye out for if you're new to the game. Make sure that your contract is something that you're willing to spend 10,000 ISK to get the money for. And then lastly, check your ISK. Make sure that you are receiving the appropriate amount. It doesn't show the decimals, so you can ignore that. So 526, that is what the contract details page said. And Plaglio class times 22 makes sense. Perfect. We can click finish, and that concludes that contract. It's done. We can click delete if we want to cancel it. But at this point, if you followed these steps, you've placed the sell order. It's on our buyback webpage, and now it is in our contracts itself. And now we can complete the contract, and the money would go straight to you as soon as that gets done. Normally, 24 to 48 hours is kind of what we try for, but sometimes it might take longer. If you're concerned about it, reach out to Menegrith or myself, and we'll get that fixed up for you. If at any point your contract gets rejected by the corporation, the place you would find it is make sure you're under your name on your contracts page. Again, if you need to find the contracts page, go to the Eve button at the top here. Then we go to Finance Contracts. Most of the time I would recommend pinning it to the side so that it's easy to get to, but you would go make sure your name is here, go to your status and requires attention, get contracts. If there's a canceled contract, you can find it here. Just double click on it. It'll give you access. You can open it, click delete, and at that point all the items or money that are tied up in that contract will go back to you and you'll have access to it once more. So it's a good idea to check every now and then to make sure that you don't have contracts in here that need to get cleared. At this point, that about sums up everything I want to talk to you about when it comes to the buyback page and sell contracts. Again, if you have any questions, any more need for information, talk to us on our New Pilot Help channel, talk in the main All Bootstraps channel, or you can reach out to Falky Nimrath or Menegrith Venerai if you need more information. At this point, fly safe